In the quiet suburb of a bustling city, Anna and Mikhail lived what seemed to be an exemplary life. Her home, harmonious blend of modern elegance and warm comfort, was the envy of her friends and family. Together they ran a successful business, balancing their professional and personal lives with an ease that many admired. They had two beautiful children, filled their house with laughter and youthful energy. As her wedding anniversary approached, Anna found herself immersed in a sea of plans and preparations. She imagined a surprise that would not only commemorate their years together, but also rekindle the romance that had been the foundation of their relationship. Maybe a surprise trip to Paris where they had spent their honeymoon, or a great dinner at the most luxurious restaurant in the city. Her heart skipped a beat as she thought of Mikhail's reaction. She expected a look of delighted surprise, an evening in which they could forget the world and bask in the glow of their love. Anna's heart ached as she read about the games they played, not the joyful activities of childhood, the cruel tests of endurance and will. They left the children in the cold, sometimes all night, to harden them. Elena wrote about how they huddled together to keep warm, their small bodies shivering in the moonlight. However, the most chilling entries were the ones that hinted at deeper, darker secret. Elena wrote about missing children. Some were said to have been adopted, but whispers among the children told a different story. Punishments that went too far, illnesses that were ignored until it was too late. Anna felt a chill run down her spine as she read her grandmother's words. "I fear for those who disappear at night, their beds empty in the morning, as if they had never been there." As Anna turned the pages, a deep feeling of injustice grew within her. His grandmother's childhood contrasted with his own, full of warmth and love. The diary was not just a record of the past. It was a call to remember those forgotten by time. Anna closed the diary, and her mind was filled with what had really happened in that old mansion. There were other people, like his grandmother, carried the scars of his childhood in silence. I was sure of one thing. Elena's story was a hidden chapter of the story, needed to be told. Anna felt a new determination to discover the truth, to shed light on the shadows of the past. Loosened, Anna couldn't get rid of the disturbing memories of her grandmother's diary. While walking through the silent corridors of the old hospital, it was here, many years ago, that she had met Alex, a boy from the orphanage who had become a brief but unforgettable part of her life. At the time, Anna was a patient fighting a serious illness that left her bedridden and alone. The diagnosis was harsh, an illness that promised a future of uncertainty and struggle. The news hit Anna like a storm, shaking the foundations of the world she had built for her and Valeria. In the days that followed, Anna struggled with fear and despair, and the joy of the past few months was overshadowed by the specter of her illness. She spent sleepless nights, struggling with unanswered questions. How would you take care of Valeria? What would happen to her daughter if her health worsened? But in her darkest hours, Anna found strength in the same bond she feared would be broken by her illness. Valeria, sensing the change in her mother, became an unexpected source of strength. Her small hands, her innocent words of comfort, her unwavering trust in Anna became beacons of hope in the darkness. Anna realized that, although the future was uncertain, the love she shared with Valeria was a force capable of weathering any storm. She made a decision to face her illness bravely, cherish every day with her daughter, and fight for every moment they spent together. With the support of friends, family, one network of caregivers, Anna began her treatment. It was a journey marked by ups and downs, but through it all, his determination never wavered. Valeria, in her own way, adapted to the new routine, and her resistance shone with its own light. One afternoon, sitting together, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of purple and gold, Anna hugged Valeria, her heart full of emotions too complex to articulate. She whispered stories about her grandmother's Zweitausendine, about her own childhood, about dreams and hopes. In those moments, they were not just mother and daughter. They were two souls united by an unbreakable bond, who faced the uncertainties of life with a calm, unwavering courage. The story of Anna and Valeria was not just a story of adoption or of fighting against adversity. It was a testimony to the power of love, its ability to transform lives and overcome the tests of destiny. When the stars emerged in the twilight sky, Anna looked at Valeria with her heart filled with pride and love. They had come a long way, and although the path ahead was shrouded in fog, they would walk it together hand in hand, heart to heart, embracing whatever tomorrow brought them. 2009. Alex, with his tousled hair and contagious smile, had been admitted for a minor injury. Unlike the other children who stayed away from the sick girl, Alex spent hours by Anna's bed, telling her stories and making her laugh. He talked about his life in the orphanage, painting it with a veneer of adventure and mischief. But even as a child, Anna perceived the pain hidden behind her eyes, a reflection of the heartbreaking stories her grandmother had written. Their friendship was a fleeting comfort in the sterile and impersonal environment of the hospital. But as suddenly as he had appeared in her life, Alex was gone. Anna later learned that he had been transferred to another institution, one with a bad reputation for its harsh conditions. The news left a deep wound in her heart. Filled with guilt and helplessness, she wondered if she could have done something to help him, to save him from that fate. Years passed, but the memory of Alex persisted like a shadow. Anna began to investigate, prompted by the revelations in her grandmother's diary. Her search led her to a grim discovery. Alex had died in that same Usand institution, a victim of negligence and cruelty. Sitting on a bench outside the hospital, Anna felt the weight of the past pressing down on her. Alex's life, like that of so many others, had been a victim of a system that failed to protect the most vulnerable. He had been a beacon of light in her darkest days, but she had not been able to return that light to him when he needed it most. With tears blurring her vision, Anna made a silent vow. He would tell his stories, both his grandmother's and Alex's. I wouldn't forget them. I would write about the laughter and the tears, the brief moments of joy and the long, painful shadows. Through his words, he would honor the memory of the one who had been his friend, if only for a time. Anna's search led her to Prospective Adoptive Parents School, an initiative designed to prepare people for the challenges of adopting a child. Sitting in the dimly lit room, listening attentively to the speaker, Usand began to assimilate the reality she was about to embark on. The speaker, an experienced social worker named Irina Petrova, spoke with a mix of compassion and brutal honesty about children in the system. Many were born to HIV-infected mothers, with a stigma that often made them invisible to potential adoptive parents. Ms. Petrova's words painted a vivid picture of their struggles, not just the health battles, but the psychological scars of being repeatedly ignored, feeling unwanted. As Anna listened, she thought about her grandmother's experiences, about Alex's short, tragic life, and her heart ached. She realized that they were not just stories from the past. The suffering continued in the present. Conference went on to address the legal complexities and social prejudices surrounding adoption, further highlighting the daunting journey that awaits these children and their potential families. Ms. Petrova shared stories of children who had found homes, only to be returned when their adoptive families could not cope with their medical needs or the ghosts of their traumatic past. Each story was a blow to Anna's determination, but it also strengthened it. I couldn't change the whole system, but maybe, just maybe, I could change things for one child. The key moment came when Mrs. Petrova showed a series of photographs of children awaiting adoption. Each face told a story of hope mixed with despair. And then Anna saw her, a girl with big, searching eyes and a tentative smile. Her name was Valeria. At that moment, Anna knew she had to meet that child. He couldn't shake the feeling that their paths were destined to cross, that somehow their stories were intertwined. The conference ended and the room emptied, but Anna remained seated, deep in thought. He was about to enter a world of uncertainty and challenges, but he felt a deep sense of purpose. As she left the room, Anna's mind was filled with a mixture of fear and hope. She was entering the unknown, but she carried with her the strength of her grandmother's spirit and the memory of a friend who had illuminated her darkest days. The days following the conference were a whirlwind of emotions for Anna. His mind kept thinking about the image of Valeria, the girl from the conference. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a coincidence. It was a call. Anna spent hours on the website Mrs. Petrova had mentioned, browsing the profiles of children waiting to be adopted. Each child's eyes seemed to tell a story of longing and the silent desire for a loving home. They always returned to Valeria's profile. There was something about her, perhaps a resistance in her gaze or an unspoken connection that Anna felt attracted her. The more he read about Valeria, the more he realized the challenges that lay ahead. Valeria was born to an HIV-positive mother and had her own health problem. His medical reports were a labyrinth of terms and conditions, most of which described a difficult life. However, amid all the medical jargon, what caught Anna's attention the most was a single line from Valeria's profile. He loves to listen to stories and has a kind smile that can light up a room. Anna's decision to adopt Valeria was met with a mix of support and skepticism from her family and friends. They warned her of the difficulties of raising a child with special needs, the bureaucratic obstacles, and the judgments of society. Anna was determined. She saw in Valeria not only a girl in need, but a spirit similar to that of her grandmother, Survivor. When beginning the adoption process, Anna faced the harsh reality of the system. Paperwork seemed endless, and each visit to the adoption agency was a test of patience and determination. He encountered indifferent officials and frustratingly slow processes. But the hardest part was the wait. The endless hours wondering if her application would be approved, if she would be considered fit to be a mother, and above all, if Valeria would end up returning home with her. As the weeks turned into months, Anna's life became a balance of hope and uncertainty. He prepared a room in his apartment, imagining Valeria there playing, laughing, and growing. She read books about adoption and childcare, and each page turned her anxiety into anticipation. Then one day, he received a call. Anna's heart raced when she answered the phone. It was the adoption agency. His application had been approved. I was going to meet Valeria. At that moment, a new chapter began in Anna's life. She was no longer just a woman shaped by her grandmother's past and the memories of her childhood. She was about to become a mother, ready to give Valeria the love and life she deserved. The day Anna met Valeria remained etched in her memory, like a vivid painting. The orphanage was an austere, gray building whose walls echoed with the muffled sounds of children's voices. As she walked through the halls, Anna felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. It was the moment he had been waiting for. But he couldn't shake the feeling of stepping into the unknown. Valeria was in a playroom, surrounded by toys, but seemed oblivious to the world around her. His big eyes, the same ones that had drawn Anna to his photo, now looked at her with a mixture of curiosity and caution. 2009. First meeting was a dance of tentative steps. Anna tried to get involved, and Valeria watched her in silence, unsure of this new adult in her life. In the following visits, Anna and Valeria began to connect little by little. Anna brought books, and they sat together to look through the pages. Sometimes Valeria leaned on her, a small gesture that filled Anna with a warmth she had never known. Every smile, every little interaction was a victory, a sign that they were moving in the right direction. But with each visit, Anna also saw the harsh reality of Valeria's world. The orphanage, although run by well-meaning staff, was a place of routines and rules, lacking the warmth of a family. She saw that the children craved attention, that their eyes followed her every time she arrived and left. Each farewell with Valeria became harder, a reminder of the life she was leaving behind. The adoption process was progressing, but not without difficulty. Anna attended several meetings with social workers where they questioned her about her life, her ability to care for Valeria, and her future plans. She understood the need for these questions, but they often left her exposed and vulnerable. In the midst of this emotional roller coaster, Anna received the news she had long awaited. Final approval. She was officially going to be Valeria's mother. The joy of that moment was overwhelming, but so was the realization of the responsibility he was about to assume. While preparing for Valeria's arrival, Anna transformed her house. He decorated a room for Valeria, filling it with books, toys, one small bed with bright, happy sheets. He imagined Valeria in every corner of the apartment, her laughter filling the space that had been so silent for so long. The night before Valeria arrived home, Anna was awake, her mind in a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. She was excited, scared, and full of love for the little girl she was about to welcome into her life. She thought about her grandmother, about Alex and the journey that had brought her here. Tomorrow, a new life would begin for her and Valeria, a life full of challenges, but also of immense joy and love. The morning Valeria arrived at her new home marked the beginning of a completely new chapter in her and Anna's lives. The girl stood in the doorway, clutching a small, worn-out teddy bear, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and wonder. Anna knelt, offered her hand, and together they crossed into their common future. The first days were a delicate dance of patience and learning. Valeria was adjusting to a totally new environment, so different from the structured confines of the orphanage. He explored his new home with cautious curiosity, often stopping to look at Anna for comfort. Anna, for her part, was learning to be a mother. Each day presented new challenges, from calming Valeria's night terrors, finding a way to communicate love and security. He read her bedtime stories, a ritual that little by little became a bridge that united their hearts. But the transition was not without difficulty. Valeria often closed herself off. Zweitausendine. The trauma of his past cast a long shadow over his present. There were days when he sat silently, looking distant, and Anna felt a pang of helplessness, wondering if she was doing enough. Anna also faced the challenge of integrating Valeria into a world that often seemed indifferent, if not hostile, to children like her. She fought for her daughter's rights, from getting her a place in a supportive school to facing whispered prejudice from neighbors. In the midst of these challenges, there were moments of pure joy and triumph. Anna will never forget the day Valeria laughed for the first time in her new home, sounds so full of life and hope. Or the moment when Valeria, after months of silence, finally called her mom. Every small step felt like a monumental victory, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As the seasons changed, so did their life together. Valeria started going to school, big step for both of them. Anna saw with pride how her daughter, previously so withdrawn, began to open up, make friends, and learn new things. It gave the bud of confidence in Valeria, a flower that bloomed slowly after a long winter. But just when they seemed to be finding their groove, life threw them a curveball. Valeria fell ill, a reminder of her fragile health. The nights were long, spent in the hospital hallways and under the harsh lights of the emergency rooms. Anna held her daughter's hand throughout the process, heart aching with worry. The illness was a setback, but also a reminder of the bond they shared. They came out stronger, their connection deeper. Anna realized that motherhood was not just about sunny days and laughter, but also about staying together in the face of storms, about being the rock for her son, and the world seemed to fall apart. While they celebrated Valeria's recovery, Anna looked at her daughter. She was no longer the fragile girl from the orphanage, but a young woman full of strength and courage. Yus and their journey had just begun, and although the path was uncertain, one thing was clear: they would travel it together hand in hand. As the seasons passed, Anna watched as Valeria became a vibrant and curious girl, and how her laughter filled the apartment that had previously resonated with loneliness. Every day brought new discoveries, new challenges. One, bond deepening between mother and daughter. However, in the midst of this new joy, a shadow loomed on the horizon, a reminder that the tapestry of life is woven with threads of light and darkness. One autumn afternoon, while the leaves were painting the world in amber and gold, Anna received a call that chilled her heart. Her own health, she had taken for granted amid the whirlwind of motherhood, was failing.